Hi, also welcome to another day on this JMeter training. So currently we are continuing with uh, some stuff related to JMeter, which is related to recording, right? Yes. So till yesterday we have talked about some terminologies and dual major component. Then we have talked about recording in JMeter. We have seen the transaction request response header methods, right? For URL part, all this. So we will continue with some more stuff on that. Then we were also talking about like irrelevant request and embedded resources. Okay. So uh, yeah, so last time means in the last part on yesterday session I left on discussing the irrelevant request, right? So if you remember, there were irrelevant requests from many sources, right? And those sources were like from Microsoft, then Google were there, right? Google. Then Zoom was there, Zoom. Then McAfee, right? McAfee. Okay. Then yeah, from Microsoft Live was there, and like that, so many other uh, uh, like requests were there. Like, so from where they comes, right? So first we will understand. So see what happens in our laptop. Okay, many background activities goes on, right? Which we are not even aware of, and they do not need a browser also. Like they directly communicate with their server. So software directly communicates with their server without our knowledge in background. Okay. So one such example, maybe this Zoom. So let us say I am doing a meeting with Zoom, or we have Teams also, right? Teams. Now what will happen? So when we are doing this communication, right, with this meeting, so this Zoom requests are also being made to its server, right? And that's why we have seen some uh, uh, record or request from Zoom as well, right? Zoom. Then we have Teams also, right? Teams, Teams is there. So some requests were there from Teams as well. Okay. Same way from Google, Microsoft, all those things. So like, let us say this PowerPoint, it's of Microsoft, right? This PowerPoint which I'm using, or McAfee. Okay, yeah, I have antivirus, antivirus. I have an antivirus called McAfee antivirus in my laptop. Then this Microsoft Live, then Windows update, right? Windows update is there. So like so many, even some Google stuff, because Google Chrome we use, right? So Google stuff. So all those, right? All these applications, they try to communicate with the server without our knowledge. Means knowledge means they without our knowledge means we cannot say like that. That is their nature, right? They do not need the browser to communicate. Like Windows update, just a simple example. So right, Windows, and it's very famous for taking update nowadays. Like everywhere, every time, now and then it will take update. Correct. So how it take update? Windows operating system that we have, it try to communicate with its server, and then it try to fetch any update and it downloads, and we do not aware, we are not aware, right? And it happens in background, you can say, right? Background. So these all application try to communicate. Okay. And that's why what happens when we set up this proxy, right? And when we are doing the recording in JMeter, right? JMeter, that time when those all these applications which are there in your laptop or your machine, like the antivirus, the Zoom, the Teams, the Windows update, the Microsoft Office Live update, right? Google update, all those things. This kind of request that you see. So they, like as I said, they are communicating with their server, and we are not aware, but they are directly communicating those applications. But when we set up this proxy, then what happens? Those requests also gets captured. because that is the purpose of proxy. Proxy means it's like you are setting up a sniffing hacking or sniffing or network sniffing tool, right? Network hacking tool you are setting up. And when we press the start button, that time what happened from browser also, what request is going, or from system means our laptop, right? So this all application when they are trying to communicate, so all those requests which is going to their server, they all will be captured in JMeter, right? They all will be captured. So that is a reason those things we have seen getting captured in our uh, JMeter, correct? And those are called irrelevant requests. They are called what? Irrelevant request, or you can, some people can call it as unwanted. Okay, unwanted request, right? Why irrelevant or unwanted? Means because it's not related to our application. So suppose you are working on an application, right? So let us say we picked adapting yesterday. So that application, right? Adapting. Uh, uh, we have to worry about all the requests related to that only. Why we should worry about this all? Correct. So that's why they are called irrelevant request or embedded resources. Irrelevant request. Right? And then we have embedded resources with that. So as I said, embedded resources also we do not worry, because there is a different way to download the embedded resource. So when we are doing the recording, right? So remember, uh, after recording is done, after recording is finished, we have to just focus on the main request related to all the transaction for that application or for the scenario. Correct? We should ignore irrelevant requests. We should ignore embedded resource. Correct. Now, what is irrelevant request? You know what is embedded resource. Now, see, in JMeter, there is some filter given, okay, which can filter out most of the embedded resources. Almost you can say 95% of embedded resources can be filtered out when we do recording. And irrelevant requests also 50-60% they can be filtered out. 50 to 60%, right? So uh, we will do a recording now by using that filter. Okay, and we will also see so how to use that filter. So this is JMeter. Right? So yesterday what we did, we added 4 elements manually, right? If you remember, I'll just quickly add some. This was thread groups. Inside thread group, we were using recording control. Then there was listener called view result tree. Then this PTP cases to recorder. Then we have listener called view. Right? This uh, five five element we added manually. Correct. Now the same thing we will use it through template. And in that also, which template? Remember, recording template. I'll show you where that is. Recording template. Now, why we will be using that? That also I'll be explaining. So this is what we did manually. Now, instead of doing it manually, I will just again click on new, and everything will be gone. So this is how everything looks like, right? Initially, or yeah, as a fresh start. This is how. Now, what we have to do is, if you see this green button, this is called template. Okay. Or we can go in file and you can see this template, and this is also template. So you can click here. So this pop-up will come template, and here so many templates are there. Or the shortcut for that template is kept here, that green button. And if you click on template, this pop-up will come, and this from this drop down, you can see there are so many templates, right? But which one we have to use? We have to use this template called recording. Right, recording. If we just click, and it will be selected, then just click on create, and one more time, first time create, and then one more time again create. So when you do that, you will see some element will be automatically added. Okay. So do you see here? Some elements got automatically added in which we have thread group. Then inside that we have recording controller, then view result tree, then we have HTTP test script recorder, and inside view result. So this four elements were which these are the one which we were using initially, which we were adding manually, but now they are pre-added. Okay, it's called pre-added, right? Preload or pre-added, right? So these are the main one. And apart from that, you can see above three, they are also some different elements are added. So initially, what we will do, if we do not need these three, so you can just select them. How to select? Just press the control button and one by one you just click them, so they will be selected. And then you have to remove them. So how to remove? This seizure is there. Using that, if you do it, they will be cut, remove. Or right click also you can do cut. Okay, or remove also here. Yeah, bring up. So they will be removed. Correct. We just need this four element which we were using initially. Now, in this you see this test script recorder, the only element which is responsible for doing the recording, right? So this is in disable mode, right? Yesterday I was talking about enabling or disabling of the element, right? So this is a blurred color, right? It's blur. Blurred means it's disabled. So you can keep it as it is, or if you want, you can enable it. So how to enable? It's just select it and use this toggle. This is called toggle, right? Toggle or in edit you can go and see enable or disable or toggle. It's same thing, right? So you can do that, or there is shortcut for that. What is that shortcut? Remember, control plus T, right? Remember, control plus T for toggling. So either you can just select it and press this thing, so it will be enabled, right? You see, again, if you press, it will be disabled. Or through that shortcut call control plus T also we can do. So just like control T, right? Enable, disable like this, right? So we have enabled this. Now let us save it, save this test run. So how to save? We have a save button here. Through that you can save, or you can go to file and you can do save, same thing. Let us suppose for now I'm just saving on my desktop. So second recording, and its extension will be .jmx file, right? So every you see automatically it will take .jmx. So remember, every file in this computer world has extension. I think in day one also I've explained that every file in this world has some extension. Like if you see this is docs, this is PDF, this is PPT, this is JPEG, right? This is PDF, this is TXT, like that. This is RTF, right? So every file in this computer world has some extension. So same with JMeter files have extension called what? .jmx. Okay, .jmx. It will be automatically taken. It will show. Now, what is the full form of JMX? Remember, JMX. What is the full form of JMX? So Java managed extension. Okay, extension. Correct. Since it's a Java, so Java managed extension, JMX. Correct. So just save it. So it has been saved on my desktop. You can see here also, once you give the file name, it will be shown here that where it is saved and what is the file name. Fine. Now next is so why we are using this template. Okay, before going ahead, what is template? See, template means pre-ready set of some elements, right? So we just selected that recording template and this were got pre-loaded, right? Because they were pre-ready. So this template word is everywhere. Even if you see this PPT. So if I go, suppose if I go to file and if I go to new, right? So do you see here a word called template? Means pre-ready design, right? In terms of PPT, template means pre-ready design. So same way in terms of JMeter template means some pre-ready elements, right? Pre-ready elements. And when you click on this green button, there are so many templates in this. You see, so many templates means they are all pre-ready setup. But we have to go with this recording. Okay, recording. There, select, and this all will be added. And this five we need, and those three which were added, we have to remove them, right? Okay. Now, why we use that? Why we didn't add them manually, right? So you will be having question on that. So see, in this HTTP test script recorder, there are two tabs. One tab is this, another tab is this. So this tab has this all settings, and when we go to this tab, right? So this is called request filtering tab, right? And here some filters are there. You see, which says URL pattern to exclude means all these inputs that these JMeter people have given, they all will be excluded when we do the recording, right? They will be excluded. So it's a very long list. You can see here scroller is there. You can just scroll them up like they are very long list. So what I have done is for our betterment. Mm, I have kept those lists here. Like these are all those lists. Okay. So all these lines which are there, I have just one by one I have copied and I have kept it here. Right. You can see here like this JF and download Windows, Google, Bing, right? All this. So many others. So I have done what? I have taken them and I have kept it. Now in these two lines, this and this two line, they are especially for embedded resources. Okay. So I'll take you to next slide. So these two lines especially, these are the pattern for embedded resources filter. So embedded resources extension we have discussed, right? A few days back, like a .css file, .js files, CSS, JavaScript, and then all other are image or JPEG or TXT or PNG file, right? All these are extension for embedded resources. So if you see all these extension are a filters given with this extension, right? Do you see? So what will happen? All these requests when we do the recording, all these requests with this extension will be excluded. Excluded means they will be filtered, right? And for few embedded resources for whom a filter is not there, they will not be filtered. So I'll tell you. Let us say that .svg file is a filter, is a embedded resources. Okay. So, but for this SVG file, if you see, there is no such filter given, right? So what will happen when you do the recording? That time .svg file can get recorded. So that time we have to remove manually, right? Then like that, any other suppose EGS. I think there is no entry for EGS also. Then XD are there. Okay. So like 2, 3 JS is there. .jsp. Yeah, .jsp is not there. .jsp, these are all there. JPEG, JPG, GIF, PNG is also there. .bmp, BMP. So .jsp, .txt, .svg more important. .svg, .egs, .xt. This all extension filter are not given here. So it means that when you be doing the recording, and if those application will have embedded resources with this extension, they will get recorded. Okay, because there is no filter. So we have to remove them manually. Remember. Okay, manually. So that is about embedded resources. Then other lines, right? If you see Microsoft update or Yahoo, again Windows update, Google, Mozilla, all. So what? These are the list for irrelevant request. Okay, irrelevant. We just talked, right? So see, these are not complete list because no one knows in which computer like in your computer, what software are there, right? And uh, they are trying to communicate with their server, right? So this JMeter people, they have given a common list, like they have come up with some conclusion, and they have decided, okay, these are some common URLs which will be sending a request, right? As a third party, you can say, or irrelevant or unwanted. So they have given filter for them, right? So I just said that, suppose in my suppose we are doing a meeting through Zoom. So yesterday we have seen requests from Zoom, then from Teams also. You know Teams, right? We have Teams. So Teams or a McAfee. I have a McAfee antivirus. So we have a request from McAfee. So what will happen when you do the recording? So maybe request from Zoom, Teams, McAfee will be recorded, because this filter, if you see, they do not have any filter for Zoom, Teams, McAfee, because as I said, the some common filter they have given. It's, so that's why they can work for 50%, right? But in many cases, this third party, you can say, or third party, or they are also called irrelevant, or unwanted requests can be captured. They will be captured, not, because this will only work for 50%, but for rest 50% what to do, right? So they will be captured, like Zoom. Currently we are using Zoom, Teams, my cafe, like that. So for all those applications which are there in my laptop, and for them which filter is not there, obviously they will be captured. So what we have to do, after recording is done, we have to remove this all which are getting captured manually. Okay, manual, right? Now, now why we are using the template, right? So when you use the template in this HTTP test script recorder, in this tab, we get some filter, and this filter, at least they save our work, at least, right? Somewhat they are saving our work by filtering some of them irrelevant requests and many embedded resources. So our many such thing is saved, right? Many like extra work is saved, right? The time is saved. Now I will see, now the question is why we use that template, recording template, right? We can we could have added this all manually, like how yesterday we have done. But the problem is that if you add this HTTP test script recorder manually, I have added it manually, and again here also test plan and then request filter is there. If I go to this tab, right? So you see this is blank. It's blank, right? But the this record, the same element which is given to us in that template, we have all these filters, correct? Getting the point. So that's why I now we will not be using them as manual. We'll be directly using that template, because we, in this template with this element, we are getting the filters. But manually, if you add them, those are not there. So at least they are not good, but at least 60% of traffic they will filter out. Embedded resources, almost 90% they will filter out, and irrelevant requests also some 50% around they will filter out. Okay. So you can say, right? So many work. If all this traffic gets captured like yesterday, so it can look, our script can look very buggy. Like you will get frustrated. Hey, what are they? Until you know. Okay. So at least if 60% of these embedded requests or irrelevant requests are filtered, so things look good, right? And we focus only on the main request related to those transactions of the scenario, right? Fine. Now we'll do one recording. So this time I'll be showing you through. Yesterday I've shown you through Google Chrome. Today I'll show you using Mozilla Firefox. So here thread group recording controller, view result tree, then HTTP test script recording, and so these filters are there. We do not have to do anything. Check and come to this, right? And then yeah, and we have saved this, right? Test plan. So you can uh, click here and do save, or file and do save. And yeah, now here's some selection I told yesterday, right? So target controller is recording controller because everything will be going inside recording controller. Then grouping is auto selected here. Fifth one, put each group in new transition. So it's auto selected. No need to do anything. Here we have to change. Remember, we have to change prefix. Okay. So fine. And downside, this uncheck we have to do. Uncheck we have to do. So here prefix and this uncheck. Right. So this changes we have to do and again save. Now next is like just this. Yeah. So next is here in view result type, this thing. So this recording.xml file that you see is actually for saving the recording log. Okay. So yesterday we talked about the recording log, right? Which when we do the recording, they gets captured and they are not saved. Okay? They are not saved, those recording logs, because they get deleted. So we have to save, right? So by default, you'll see this file called recording.xml. It's, uh, in which this is by default by given by JMeter, where when we do the recording, all this traffic will be saved. Okay. So this is the default. Remember, this is default file given by JMeter, and all the recording that we do gets saved here. But we will not be using this. Okay, we will be using our own. So every project recording or every scenario recording will those all recordings should be saved in different files, right? So that's why this common one will not be using. So we can delete this, like simply delete, and you can give your you can do browse and where you want to save. So for now, just for understanding purpose, I am saving on my desktop, and a name I'll give. So suppose second recording log, okay, log, and remember its extension should be .xml. Okay, extension of this file should be what? .xml. Before also, what was there? A .xml file. So you give your own file name and give .xml like this .xml, and then click on open. Uh, so this error will come. Ignore that. Just click on OK, and you'll see that location is here. So whatever we do the recording, all those will be saved in this. Fine. Now save. Every now and then we should have a habit of saving. Now this time we are going to do a recording in Mozilla file. Open Mozilla file. Okay. Same way in Mozilla Firefox also, on top right corner we have three lines. And using those three lines, you have to go to setting and search here proxy. Proxy. And so when you search proxy, this will come. We have to just click on that. So this proxy setting is different from the Google proxy setting. I'll explain that later on about these two settings. For now, let us do the recording. So here generally by default no proxy will be there. We have to click on manual proxy, and then we have to fill some detail here. So first, wait, first let me know this. So I'll do it again. So just we have to go to settings and then search proxy. Then this comes, click on this setting, and then from no proxy, we have to click on manual proxy. And then here type first here put a check mark in it, allow you this proxy for HTTP, and then here type that same word in local host local and the port number, which is here, the same port here, 48, and do save. Now, once you do this proxy server on, so you know, right, what will happen. Suppose if I try to open Google here, you'll see it will not. We know that thing. So even yesterday in Google Chrome also this was happening, and we know why this happened, right? If we disable it back from this to this, again it will start working. But for now we have to do recording, so we have to do this setup. Fine. Now here also incognito or in private we will start. Okay. Now we'll click a start button here. This pop-up comes. Okay. Now this tab here we have to give first what transaction name. So let's give T01 home page. Home page. Okay. So we have given here. Right? Now that URL you have to put. So and up. So we can just verify once whether recording. So you can see what's happening. Here in recording controller, you can see at home page and the request. You see, getting started. Then one more transaction we will do. So first delete this, update the transaction. So T02 new user register, right? So click on this. So again, when we are clicking on this page is coming, let it fully load. If you see on top left corner, it's still revolving. So until it gets fully loaded, we have to wait. Now it's done. So just two transactions. I'll just stop. You can close this. Yeah. Now come here. So you can see here how beautifully this time things came. No more irrelevant requests you are there, like you see one. But embedded resources almost they also got filtered out. We have our one main request and then the request. Here also, if you see very clear field recording has been done, right? Home page, and then inside that if you see the end page request, correct? No irrelevant no irrelevant request and embedded resource they are also filtered. We have new next transaction which is new user also. So in this we have another it's request, right, which is register.php, and along with them the request and the header, right? Request and its header will be the request header. Here also this request and header. Apart from that, these two additional request has been captured. This capture.php and index.html.php if you see. So this is related to our that transaction one, but actually what is happening here? So you. Google Chrome. Fine. So wait. I'm clicking on this new user link, right? So what is happening is there are two such requests. Actually, they are embedded resources, but since this is a practice website or a kind of demo website, right? So let's not say .php, maybe in incognito. Oh, I have got filters here. Here only I'm saying. Yeah. What is happening, if you see, there's some request like captcha.php and index.html. Actually, they are subdocument or their type is image, right? So they are embedded resources, okay, or non-HTML resources. But due to their extension .php and .html, it is not able to filter them out, right? And that's why we see them both got captured. But that's what just now we checked that, right? They are embedded requests, right? So we can delete them. So only the transaction, it's a request, maybe it's one or two, right? Or here also transaction and request. So this is how you see how almost very clean recording. We had sometime some irrelevant request or embedded resources can be captured. So we have to manually by verifying them, okay, carefully. So like about this captcha, suppose this two transaction, two request captcha.php in which.html. So they are irrelevant. They are, sorry, embedded resources. I always get saying. So embedded resources, right? So, but JMeter not able to recognize it captured it, but we have to identify them and remove them. So this happens. Now, so this is done. Next is about this log, right? This recording log. So as I said, this recording log is saved in this file. So even accidentally, if we delete them, we can always bring it. So let me click on this brush, and see, it got all deleted, right? Now, if I have to bring them, so you have to go browse, and where we saved that. So we have saved that on desktop, and this was the file name, right? Recording log.xml. You have to just select and load it. Open. So you see, they are coming there. Okay. And once you load this recording log, they are called recording log. Do not keep this file here. Okay. Many people keep this. We have to just remove it. Otherwise, if you keep it as it is, so what will happen when we do uh, a test run, right? Suppose I'll do a run by clicking this green arrow, right? So it will throw this error, warning kind of stuff. And it says that this file already exists, what you want to do. So many people can get confused and repeatedly saying this about this error. So whoever is watching or whoever is watching this video, just remember that this error comes because we keep that file here in this view result. But I'll just cancel it and go here. I'll just try to run. Why this error comes? Okay, this warning to remember with this option, because in this view result tree,
which is there in this HTTP test script folder. We keep this file name, and if you see, this is same, right? So many people get, hey, this is coming, this, they do not know what to do, right? So basically we have to remove this. How to remove? It's very simple, very simple. Just delete this, select and delete this. Do not keep that file here. Only when the recording is done, right, is finished, we have to remove this. We do not keep it. Okay, only when you need to reload this. Suppose accidentally you deleted this recording log, it got deleted, right? Now again you want to bring it, so you can select it and open, so all will be loaded. And again after opening, do not keep this here, otherwise again the same error, if I click here, the same error will come, right? So do not keep, you have to just select delete it. Now next thing is, so that is what uh, almost yeah, almost everything covered about recording. Next is this replay, right? So um, uh, replay or running of the test. So we have seen that yesterday. Like suppose this is the launch request, this is new user register request, request with its header, right? So request body and request header. So complete request, and then this is also request body and its header. So complete request, and when we run it, so we can put the number of users here and we can run it, right? So suppose again I'll run it. It's running, you see. And this is what we have to know, like for how many users you are running and how much is the response time, how much is the response time. Sometime, as I said, this view can be a little bit confusing, because what happens is uh, here two times the same thing reflect, like home page and then home page, so you can get confused. So actually this home page one is the request, and this home page is the transaction name, right? Same way this register.php is the request, and below that it's this one is the transaction name, right? But if you want to have a better view, so what you can do is uh, here you can click on generate parent sample. Just click on the transaction and click on generate parent sample. Do not click here. And then same way, this is another transaction. Here also we can do click generate parent sample. Do not click here, second. And then if you try to rerun, I'm just drawing a line so that we can have a difference. So now you see it looks little bit beautiful compared to this view. This view is look beautiful, like home page, new user. And if you want to see the request, you can just expand them, right? This key. So now you see, right, which one is looking good. Correct? I think this approach looks good. Maybe so anyone we can use. There is no such hard and fast rule. Only thing for a beginner, this might be confusing. So if you put if you click generate parent sample, if you just tick over there or tick there, and when you run, so we get a difference like this. So this is the default view. This is how home page and its request, second transaction and its request look like, right? Okay. I think this looks for a beginner, this looks good to view. Now, and this all thing, uh, why like there was a question why we do put each group in a new transaction controller, right? So because every transaction have its own request, right? So that's why each transaction is treated as a group. Okay, group. So every transaction and its request will should be kept in separate transaction, means new transaction. So home page and its request should be kept in home page transaction. And then new user transaction and its request should be kept inside this transaction. Correct. Now, what is the importance of this transaction controller? Why we do like that? Okay, remember. So uh, I have kept here also of transaction controller, and remember its uniqueness. what is the uniqueness of this, right? So uniqueness of this is transaction controller helps in telling us the total time. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of that? So suppose a transaction have two requests. So for an example, I will just for namesake, I am uh, making here two requests. For an example, just think like that. Okay, they are same. I've just copied them two times just to make you guys understand that thing like this transaction has two requests. Okay, they can be different, but for now they look same, but treat them as a different. Okay, so what will happen? Both uh, requests will have different response time, right? We know that. Like so this is home page launch. So we have one request and one request and it's time here. Now suppose we are going to do the login, and I have shown this application previously also. Login. So here so many main requests are there, but initially there are three requests and two are redirecting. So see three not two redirecting. This one is also redirecting. It will redirect to one more request. So three, right? We'll see. So it took some time, maybe some network issue it happened, but you see, so that login basically it has three requests. For now, just try to understand three requests, right? Three. One is this one, it took this much. Another one is this one, it took this much, and then this one, right? Now this all three have some response type, right? T1, this one, T2, this is T2. Right? This is one, this is one, this. Now, if you add them up, right? Yeah. So if you add these three, so that is total server response time for what? For for login, right? Because we have to add all three. Then that is what we will be getting total response time for login. Correct? Correct, right? So that's what I'm trying to show you that the use of transaction controller is to add those response time. So suppose this transaction I have two requests just for namesake, understand it, right? Now when you run it, you'll see this is new user and it has supposed two requests. So it suppose the first request 350 and second request 704. So sorry, 350 or 305. Yeah, 350. Right. So 350 first one and this is 704, which is almost how much? 100, 155, 54, 704. Yeah, 154. So total time for this both is 154. So let us see that transaction. When you click on transaction, how much it is? 100. So it added, right? And it's showing. So that is the beauty. Even if you uncheck also, like the default view is like this, unchecking, right? So that time also we will get same. Yeah. So this is home page first request 692, and here also it's same because it has only one request, so it's showing same, right? Now this second transaction has two requests. So let us say this is 340 again, and this is 1167. So if you add them, so how much? So we can. This is transaction. When you click, we get this, right? 7 and this 0 and then this 5 and then this 1057. Correct? So that is the uniqueness of transaction controller. Remember, hmm? Even So when we do more extensive load test, so we can add one more additional called aggregate report. Private. So this aggregate report shows us this as text. So let us say, suppose just for understanding, or so here we can just see the response time. Sorry, just around. We can see here. So what do we see? Home page. How much? Was 1031, right? And its transaction is also showing as 103. Then this one, right? So it has first request 352, second request 671, and total 1023. 10. So like that, right? So that is the uniqueness of transaction control. It adds the sum of response time for each request. And same thing we can run for 10 user or 5 user. And that's what we see for 10 user. You can see here 10 user all got executed. So for 10 user homepage, how much it took? Like it took this much. Average, like average, median, so many columns are there. We'll try to understand each column later on. But for now, understand we generally take 90 or 95% time. So homepage total took 767 millisecond. These all value are in millisecond for homepage, and new user register page took 1381 second. Sorry, millisecond. 1381 millisecond, right? And each one, like the first took this much for 10 users, and this took this much for 10 users, right? So this is what generally we do. There are no errors. So this is just a small number of user we did, but this is how. So you see, right? So when we run for 10 user, what happened? Actually, 10 users send that request, right? You can see 10 time homepage. They are sending 10 times that uh, register.php request. It means that uh, in real time, you can think like 10 users are opening that home page. Okay. So when 10 users are opening that home page, so 10 request is going, right? 10 request is going. Same in real time. Same. Then all 10 users are clicking on new register page. So when they are clicking on that new register page option, right? So again, all 10 users are doing that. So we see 10 requests going. So here also you see 10 requests. So in real, that is what in real time people are doing at different laptops, right? And but what happens at the technical level or at the background level, the request is only going. So suppose we have 10 people with 10 laptops, right? Suppose 10 laptops, and all have opened the electinhotel.com, and they are at same time they are trying to open homepage launch. So all 10 are from their laptop, they are sending homepage launch. So 10 homepage requests, then they are clicking on new register page. So 10 new register page, a new user, right? New user register page, right? That 10 requests will fire or not, right? So that's what. But in real time, this is how it looks. But since we cannot bring real time users, so this tool are doing this thing, right? That's why this tool comes. They simulate or they create virtual users, and these users will send those same 10 requests, 10 this request sequentially, one after another. First 10 this 10, then this 10, like that it fires. Okay. So and hope you understand the uniqueness of transaction control, right? In interview if they ask, hope you will be able to answer it. Next is I'll just delete this. Okay. Next is view. Okay. Um, yeah. So see, whenever we click the request, sorry, which one is the ultra? So this is recording log, and this is when we run the test. So this is also called a replay log. Replay log, and this one is called recording log, because when we did the recording that time, whatever the traffic, right, network traffic or the request got fired, everything got captured with request and response, all the things. Right? So when you click, suppose this is the first request, the main. When you click that, you'll see 3 tabs here. So this tells the numbers. Then there is request tab. You see the request body and request header. And then we have response data tab, where you see the response body and response header, right? Same with this second request register.php. Here also request and response we have, right? When we run also the same thing. This is the request, and this is the response, or this is next request, and we have this. But now, for a beginner people, if you want, suppose you are not understanding this code, right? So what you can do is you can change the view. So let us say this is home page, and you are not sure whether this is home page or not. So by default, this is text or code mode. Right? So many times I've told you, like, this is text or code format, and this is how the response comes. But if you want to change this view, so here this drop down stuff is there. From this drop down, you can go and choose HTML or HTML download anyone, but HTML is fine. So if I click on HTML, you'll see this page will be rendered by JMeter, which will look exactly, not exactly, but somewhat how our adapting page is. Suppose this is the home page. This is how it looks. So almost similar here. It's looking. So you'll get the idea. But this is only for reference. Everything works in text mode only. Then this is register.php. This is the next one, right? Next one. When we click, so this is the page. So just you want to be sure whether this is the page or not. From this drop down, you can change it to HTML. It will change. So by that way, you can understand, okay, this is that page, right? Even when you replay and we ran a test and you want to see, so from drop down, you can choose HTML. Okay, this is the home page, right? And this is register.php, right? Second. So just for beginner people who sometimes they can get confused, right? So, but so if you see the things, it looks more better. When you see this thing, it looks better. Like for beginner, it can what is this? Whether this is correctly that home page or not, or whether this is the next page or not. Maybe for beginner, it can be confusing. So you can do what you can just change the view to HTML. You can click on them and verify. So even for, let us say, 2 user, 3 user, if you run, or 10 user, if you run, this is how it looks, right? I mean, as I said, 3 requests will be fired, and um, 3 requests will be fired, and the response comes. You see, then here, 3 times. This is one time. This is another time. This is another time, right? But generally, always response comes in code format. Only in browser they got rendered, and we see that page. In JMeter, it is not rendered by default, because JMeter is not a browser, and that is what is written on JMeter website also. Yeah, very clearly, that's what they have written. JMeter is not a browser; it works at protocol level. JMeter can look like a browser, remember, but remember that JMeter does not perform all the actions supported by browser. In particular, JMeter does not execute the JavaScript. nor it does render the HTML pages like how browser does. Okay. So that's why they have written this line, especially because people can get confused that, okay, suppose we are changing this view, right? Suppose we are changing this view to HTML. So does the JMeter rendered it, right? So people can get confused. Is it rendering it? So if it is rendering it, then why this response time is so less, right? They can get confused. But actually, that is not the case. By default, this response time is for the core response time, right? The server side response in code format. Okay. The request meant the response came in code format, and how much time it took, right? How much time. So that is pure server side response time. You can say server side response time, the core response time. And as I said, in most of the like in core performance testing, we focus on the same thing. So the same thing, how much it is taking for one user or 3 user or 10 user, right? Okay, but that's why in browser there are three different stuff. Right here, it clearly shows that uh, three different response time source, right? That, okay, this is one response time, and then this is another response time, and this is another response. So total three response times are, right? And what are they even I have explained in that. But in JMeter, it's focused on this response time, whether for one user or for 100 user or for 1,000 users or for 10,000 users, whatever. Correct. But if you want to know the response time after retrieving the embedded resources also, we know how to do. Yesterday, I have explained, right, how to do. Even in future session also, I'll be explaining. Do not worry. But for now, do not understand. Like if uh, uh, like this is the code, and if you are uh, changing the view, and it's looking like how in web UI it's looking. So do not think like it has rendered the page, and after rendering the page, this is the response time. No. Okay. So do not do that. Do not get confused, and that's why it's very clearly written on JMeter website that JMeter can look like a browser, but do not execute JavaScript file, nor does it render the HTML page like browser does. Correct? Because browser main role is doing that, and in that also the things are divided in three different steps. But in JMeter, basically, first thing is only this thing, or you can directly download the embedded resources. So, like how we have shown, I have shown yesterday, and then response time will increase. But by default, it will be this one. Okay, and actually, that is that response time of the code level. Okay, text form. But for the beginner people to understand, they have given that they can change the view to HTML, and they can get an ID just for beginner. Okay, beginner people understand. This is there. But if this is coming, do not get confused that, oh, JMeter has rendered it, and after rendering, this is the response time. No. Okay. This response time is of core level, code level, or text level, or you can say core server response time. Okay. Fine. Now, next thing is uh, yeah, yeah. Tell me.
Yeah, hi sir. So I have one question wanted to ask. Like, currently
Just
we
speak
are.
little loud. I cannot.
Okay, okay. Now I am audible properly.
Hmm.
Yeah. So now we are using here, like for example, here we have one home page request. So we remove all the embedded resources from the request, and we are just hitting the core request here. In the response, we are getting the embedded resources also in the response in as a code format.
Hmm.
But in the actual business scenario, when we execute the load testing any, so that time, do we need to add embedded resources? Because currently I am working on it, and while executing the test, I'm adding the embedded resources also as a part of the load test. Like instead of the core request, I'm adding the embedded resources also. So what is the like good practice for the to test the actual business
Um,
scenario?
yeah, yeah. So I remember this question, and that's why we answered that on Monday also. But again, I'll just quickly explain. Like
I was finding you on Monday, I think, but you didn't join.
Yeah.
Where I explained about server side and client side, right? So that time I explained that there are three kinds of response time. One is only server response time. So request went, response came, response came in code format, and how much time it is taking. So that is T1, and this is that time. Then after that, when this whole thing is getting downloaded and processed, so in that there are two further steps that happens. So that is called as T2 and T3. Okay, T3. T2 and T3. So T2 and T3 involves the DOM content load, like page structure load and all embedded resources downloading and getting whole process right fully. So
Mhm.
when we add this like T1, T2 and T3, when we add it, that is called end-to-end complete response time. And this time that you see, which is in red color, that is the total time. Okay, which consists of this one and then uh, DOM load also and all embedded resources download. So whole thing is total, right? So that's what we have to understand. Now in this one is T1, and then this T2 and plus T3 happens on browser end, on user end, right? So in
Mhm.
that video I have explained that these all are like user specific or user machine specific. If user machine is slow, or if he has less RAM or processor is not good, so obviously this all rendering can happen slow, or his bandwidth is less, so this all can be slow at his end. So this activity comes in part of user it has user dependency, right? It doesn't have to do everything every time with the server. Okay,
Mhm.
so in the core performance testing, that's why we focus on this time only, not with this, because there are two things. First thing is this is user dependency. Only browser is doing that. On browser side, it's happening. It dependent on user machine, how good, how fast user machine is, right? So if it is more fast, more RAM he has, so obviously this will be processed more fast. The same thing with the lower RAM, lower processor laptop, it will be slow. Correct. So
Mhm.
so that's why this is categorized as user end or client side. Uh, that is what one is server side, which is core that server response time, and that is client side. And even why this is also considered as client side, because when you access a website, so if you remember, I have talked about cookies and cache. So in cache, what I explained that whenever you first time visit a website, so they will be downloaded first time, but after that they all will be saved, and once
Mhm.
they will be saved, so repeatedly if the user is browsing that website, so they will be loaded from the user uh, cookies area, user cache area, sorry, cache area, this all, and that time load will be faster. So this doesn't have every time these embedded resources are not impacting the server, right? What is impacting the server is the main request, correct? So that's why this is kept uh, separate, because every time it's not impacting or hitting the server, this whole thing, correct? So this part, this T2 and T3, that's why it's called client side part. Client here means user side part, and that is kept separate. Okay, so only when they want to do that, or there is a special requirement, we focus on that. So that time we can run a test by retrieving the embedded resources. So in JMeter, how to do, I have explained yesterday, or in next session also I'll be explaining one more time. But generally, in core performance testing, we just focus on this. Okay.
Okay. And so, for example, if I got a request like I have to perform a load test for 10K transaction per minute. So that time we need to consider this embedded resources or just the core request only?
Core only.
Only core request. Okay.
Whenever they all say per minute, per second, it's all about the main request
Okay.
API.
Oh, oh, got it.
Okay. Yeah. So um, so T1, T2, T2. Yeah. And T2, and again T2 and T3 measurement have many other things, like suppose you want to like all embedded resources got downloaded, and suppose one JS file, if you see it's loading so much, it's taking so much time.
and you are repeatedly you have tested, so it's taking so much time, right? So how you will know that, right? So that's why a dedicated separated test is done only for these purposes. Why? Because these are, every page has this, right? Every page has embedded resource, and they can be very, for some website they can be very huge, so it's need a dedicated separate testing.
Yeah, because
So
sometimes we got,
we should
yeah.
segregate them, which both server and the client.
Okay.
And even if you want to do this as well, we have a Lighthouse plugin which can
Mhm.
help in analyzing the page responsiveness, or yeah, what you call as UI analysis or page analysis. For every page, we can get a report.
Okay, yes.
Fine. So view, yeah. So I've explained about view. Now what is it? Okay. Next is see port, right? See that 88 port. Generally use that one only. No need to change. Even if you want to change, you can change. You can use any of this, but make sure that whatever you are using in browser, right? We have used in browser, correct? When whatever you are using in browser, that should match with the JMeter. It should be same, right? Remember. But generally, no need to change. Whatever the default is, that you can go ahead and use that. And localhost, that word, either we can use that word, or instead of that, we can use this number, the 4-digit IP address, which says as local IP address. But better to, because this can be sometime people may not remember. So use this word, localhost, it's easy. Then, yeah, I have shown you on port and proxy server setup on Google Chrome and Mozilla Firefox also, right? And even I have done the recording. Now remember one thing, that proxy server setup. Okay, remember proxy server setup of Google Chrome and internet is not there nowadays. Internet Explorer, or it is called like Edge browser now. Edge browser is same. Okay. And that is a system proxy. System proxy. And proxy server setup of Mozilla Firefox, and suppose Opera browser is also there, right? We have, or yeah, Opera browser. They all are separate. Means they are different. All are different. Means okay. So if you set up a proxy server in Google Chrome, it will impact it will impact Internet Explorer and Edge, and it uses system proxy. I'll show you again. But proxy setup server of Mozilla Firefox is totally different, and it doesn't impact Google Chrome or Edge, right? Or a proxy server setup of Google Chrome will not impact Mozilla Firefox. Same way Opera browser, if anyone is using, but Opera no one uses, so you can ignore that. Generally, these three are famous: Safari, Google Chrome, Edge also no one uses, right? And Mozilla Firefox. Mozilla Firefox is a default browser of Ubuntu operating system. Ubuntu is a Linux flavor, okay, used in many places. So yeah, so what it means. So let me show you quickly that. Suppose this is Google Chrome, and if I go and do settings and do proxy, search here proxy. So if you see, if I click on this proxy, then this is system setting. Are you anyone aware of this? This is a Windows system setting, right? If you see, this is nothing to do with browser actually. This is you all are aware of Windows setting home and all these things. So in that only this network and internet tab, and in that so whenever we are clicking on Chrome and searching proxy and clicking on that, so here also it's clearly written open computer proxy setting, means the system proxy setting, and we are changing it here. So whenever we are changing it here, so it means that like it's the default system proxy, okay, like Windows operating system proxy. So Google Chrome and Edge browser directly use the system proxy, remember.
And that's why suppose if you set, I'll set it up, suppose I saved it. So now it's on. So when I've made it on, so either in Google Chrome, this is Google Chrome, right? And if I open any website or let's say Google only, it will not open it. So no internet. Only when I have Edge browser, so this is Edge browser. So this is Edge browser, and yeah, it's trying to see google.com. It's not opening. Same error proxy connection failed, right? So they both use system proxy stuff. And since they use, remember this point or try to understand this point, okay? That since this Google Chrome and Edge browser uses system proxy, right? System proxy. That's why when we record from Google Chrome or Edge browser, many irrelevant requests can come. Many irrelevant requests. You know what is irrelevant request, right? Or unwanted request can come up. Why? Because that is when we try to record, and that time this third party apps like Windows Update, Microsoft Update, Zoom, right? Zoom, Teams, right? McAfee, all they are trying to communicate in the background with the server, and that time only we are recording. And when we are recording, it's directly sitting at system proxy. And that time when we are doing recording with our website which we are recording, those requests are also getting captured. And at that same time when these third party apps are trying to communicate with their server, that request is also captured because it's totally going through system proxy, and we are recording through system proxy only, right? So it's both is right, it's system, especially system. So that's why third party request can be seen more, very more, when you record through Google Chrome or Edge. And they have same setting, see, just now. So they use system setting. But parallelly, if I have here Mozilla Firefox, and here I can X Google. You see, here Google is open, but means here I have just opened Google and it's open because yeah, Google Chrome and Edge, here it's not opening. This is Edge, and this is Google Chrome and it's not open because I've just done a setting in Google Chrome, right? You can say it's on, and it is using system proxy, so it's impacting what Google Chrome and in Edge, but it doesn't impact Mozilla Firefox. And in Mozilla Firefox it's working fine, because in Mozilla Firefox for now it's no proxy, right? So it's working, internet is working, right? Now same way, uh, if you set up, so let me disable this. Now I have disabled, so in Google Chrome it will be working again. Edge browser also it will be working, right? But now if I, this is Mozilla Firefox, and if I change it to proxy, right, and do OK, save. So now proxy setup, and same if I refresh it, so now it will not be working here, right? Okay, it's not working, same error, right? But if I open Google Chrome, and you see it will be working. Do you see here it's opening, right? It's open. So you got the idea, no? Like you in Mozilla Firefox, if you are setting the proxy, it is not going to impact Google Chrome or Edge, right? Edge browser. And if you are setting the same thing in Google Chrome or Edge, which is using system proxy, that is not going to impact Mozilla Firefox. They both are using separate proxy. Okay, these two uses system proxy, but Mozilla Firefox proxy is different. Means if I click on settings, so if you see this pop-up, this is a special pop-up for Mozilla only. It has nothing to do with system uh, proxy, right? Because suppose you have set it up here, but in system, if I go here and open the system proxy, it's still off, right? Still off because Mozilla Firefox is not using. See here it's on, but in system it's off because Mozilla Firefox is not using system proxy. Right? It's this proxy is a special proxy for Mozilla Firefox only. But Google Chrome and Edge uses the default
proxy of the system. Okay, so that's why I will suggest try to record from Mozilla if possible. Why? Because you will see less traffic. Okay, less traffic, because only when you are recording from Mozilla, so any uh, traffic or any activity done through Mozilla will be captured. Unnecessary thing will not be captured. Mostly irrelevant thing will not be captured. But if you record from Google Chrome, since Google Chrome and Edge uses system proxy, so when at the time of recording, we see more such kind of request, irrelevant request. Okay, like all those things, Windows update, Microsoft Live, Google, Teams, Macs, McAfee browser, whatever we have seen yesterday, right? All those things, correct? And that is the difference between two. If Mozilla Firefox is not there, we have to use Google Chrome only. No, there is no option. But best is if you use Mozilla Firefox, it's good. You will less traffic, irrelevant traffic will be less, and that is the difference. Always remember, both are using different proxy. Mozilla Firefox has its own proxy setup, server setup, and Google Chrome and Edge uses the system proxy server setup. And it's same for both. Edge and Google Chrome has same. Mozilla has its own different, and they do not impact each other. Like Google Chrome and Edge same. Mozilla Firefox different, different, and they do not impact each other. Okay. So this is covered. Then coming to filters, right? So in filters, remember, we do not keep all those things. Any irrelevant request, you know what are irrelevant, we do not keep. And embedded resources, these are all extension of embedded resources. If found, mostly they will be filtered out, but if they gets captured, either irrelevant or embedded, we have to manually remove them. Okay, manually remove them from the script. What we keep is the main request and the redirecting request. Okay, we keep in the script. Next come HTTP request, so we will talk about that tomorrow. So for now, uh, uh, just to like terminology done, tool major component done, port and proxy server, understanding this transaction request response header method, response code, the protocol report path, it's all done. Then different views, right? Views I have explained, that text views and then HTML view, right? Then your transaction controller and uniqueness of transaction controller. Then saving the log, right? We have to save the log. Then filtering of embedded resources and irrelevant requests, port and proxy server setup in different browser, how to filter irrelevant requests and embedded resources, use of recording template, right? What to keep and what not to keep. Yeah. So tomorrow we will cover this. Then we have a question. Okay, I'm not audible again. No, it's working fine, right?
Yeah, I think Satya is talking something, but his voice is very low. Repeat.
Oh, you ping to him, huh?
Yeah. He's
Okay,
saying
okay.
something, yeah.
He's saying something, maybe not
Ha,
able to hear.
yes.
Even I'm not able to hear. He can type his question. Okay, so if nothing is left, we can meet tomorrow. Okay, nice.